about what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Yes, can I finish?
Yes,
so,
go
so
ahead.
I'm using a reasoning moment right now.
Go
So
ahead.
I might be wrong, but I am trying to answer your question in an honest manner. Is that cool? Is that cool?
I said go ahead about 10 times.
Thank you. So, so it leads to, you know, a wrong conclusion. Whenever we're talking about reasoning and, you know, reasoning abilities and not being fallacious, we are trying to get to the source or the truth of the matter. So whenever we insert something that is false, misleading, or different from what reality is, it leads us to conclude in a way that it is, you know, not reflected of reality or what you are, you know, referring to. So in virtue of that, a straw man that is basically twisting. I'm sorry, wait a minute.
How much you want to bet me this motherfucker lost
This
the
is
point?
a horrible definition.
The point.
It's not a definition, you stupid. I'm
It
trying
would
to
have been
explain
easier to
why
just
wanna
Google
deal with
the
meta stuff.
Wikipedia article.
So in virtue that you change reality as you know, from what it is to what you want it to be, and you're portraying that as to be real, then people might assume and reach to wrong conclusions that differ from what is actually real. So in virtue of you know, the fact that it doesn't reflect reality accurately, which is something that you would expect out of reasoning and honesty and, you know, goodwill. If you're really trying to understand a situation for you to conclude something, you need to be the closest to reality as you can. So in virtue of that is that I see, you know, Strawman to be a fallacy.
Okay,
Now,
you don't
tell me if I
understand what a
was
straw
wrong.
man is. You don't understand what a straw man is then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. Didn't
I'll
I
explain it to you.
just tell you? Hey, Kathleen, step out of this, bitch. I've been having this conversation with Tom.
All right, I'll explain it to you.
Hey, Tom.
I will explain it to you. Okay.
Great.
First of all,
What did I say? Hey, whoa.
on a second.
I never defined what a strawman was. I was trying to understand what you know, the reasoning
Dumbass.
were
No
about.
shit.
I didn't
Congratulations.
define strawman in this venue, but I did in another venue. If you want me to define what a strawman is, I can tell you that it is a misrepresentation of your opponent's arguments. It is presenting arguments and twisting them in a weaker manner, or you know, not presenting all the elements that are what makes the argument solid. Shut the fuck up, you stupid.
I'm not gonna deal with his metas. Don't aggravate him.
Okay, so this is what.
Hurry up, Tasteless. Hurry up.
This is what the definition was, and in virtue of, you know, reasoning, what we hope to be clear reasoning, you know, is for portray reality as is. And since the strawman is twisting reality, you know, it leads you to a wrong conclusion about, you know, what the reality is. In this case, a particular argument with all these elements.
I'm going to respond now. You've been talking for several
Go
minutes.
ahead.
All right, first of all, you're wrong about what a fallacy is. You said that
Tell me what a fallacy is.
Yeah, you said that a fallacy leads to a wrong conclusion, and that's not the case.
A false conclusion.
Yeah, synonymous, bud. A fallacy can lead.
That's a fallacy.
A fallacy can lead to a correct conclusion. The fallacy part speaks to the method in which they arrived at that conclusion, right? Doesn't speak to whether the conclusion is true or false. Do you understand?
Okay. So what is a fallacy then, Tomr?
Hold on, real quick.
Don't tell me what it's not. Tell me what it is.
I just want to point out that's the fallacy.
Shut the fuck up. I'm talking to Tomr, dude. Shut your fucking ass, you white knight piece of shit.
I just want to point this out. The fact that you think that
Shouldn't laugh at your own jokes.
necessarily leads to a wrong conclusion is the fallacy. That's a fallacy.
Yeah.
To a false conclusion. Now, Tomr, what is a fallacy?
Fallacy is a method of arriving at a conclusion that doesn't follow.
Whoa. A method Repeat that again, please.
Reasoning to a conclusion that doesn't follow. That's a fallacy.
A reasoning to a conclusion that doesn't follow? No. What is a fallacy, dude? Explain to me.
That's what it is.
No. What is a fallacy? You gave me an example. Now give me the
No, that's not
definition
an
of a
example.
fallacy.
That's
dude.
what it is.
What is a
Gave you the
fallacy?
definition, and you said you gave you an example.
Why is a fallacy considered a fallacy?
Because it doesn't follow.
Oh, so
The
every fallacy
reasoning,
is
the
a non
inference doesn't
sequitur.
follow.
That's it.
What?
Every fallacy is a non sequitur, and that's it.
Yeah.
Tell me why poison in the well is a fallacy.
Well, we can get to that, but first I'm going to address Strawman, right?
Nice evading.
Well, no, that was the entire basis of this entire discussion.
Why is a
I
straw
opened
man a
it by
fallacy?
asking you what a straw man was.
Sure.
You
Why
answered.
is a strawman a fallacy?
Okay, well, it's not why you said it was a fallacy. What you described was simply misrepresenting an argument, right? And that's not fallacious, right? Here's the key part that you misunderstood, right? Here's what you're not understanding. A straw man is fallacious, meaning that it doesn't follow, because when you attack the straw man, right, it doesn't follow that you actually countered their point or defeated their argument because you beat the straw man. That's why it's a fallacy. It's not a fallacy just because what you were describing was just the misrepresentation of what someone said. That's not a straw man.
So it is a straw man until the other person attacks it. Is that what you're saying? Oh, really?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
The other person is attacking that fucking argument. Yes,
Look, I mean, if you got up at 9 o'clock and then I say Tasteless got up at 10 o'clock, that's not a straw man.
No. I know what is not and what is not a straw man, Tomr.
No, you don't.
You are misrepresenting me now. All I'm saying is a mischaracterization of the argument presented in a weaker, form for the other person, presented in a different way, in a weaker way than it is intended. That is
but if I just make a
fallacious in virtue of the fact that it doesn't follow reality.
No, that's not what
reality. So as long as you are, listen.
Wrong, dude.
As long as you listen to me, as long as you are faithful to reality, everything that is not faithful to reality, it is a fallacy. Everything that you twist, tweak, misrepresent, change or misunderstand or whatever, it is a fallacy.
No.
Because it is not representing reality accurately.
Well, then you wouldn't even be able to use the term fallacy. How do you know whether?
Faulty conclusion.
Can I ask him a question, Tom?
Go ahead.
You would get a faulty conclusion, my man.
But that's not what a fallacy is about.
It doesn't matter. A straw man is a fallacy in virtue of that.
Tasteless, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You sound so confident.
Of course.
You said anytime you present an argument that doesn't accurately reflect reality, that's a fallacy. Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, if a fallacy, I mean, in order for us to reason correctly, we have to be really accurate when it comes, the closest we can to represent reality as is, in order for us to expect, that the results are actually reflected of that reality, and not that you messed up in somewhere in there and misrepresent, or misunderstand reality that could lead you to a faulty conclusion. And that's the problem with fallacies, the way it doesn't follow reality.
I have a follow-up question.
Sure. I am beginning to sound like fucking Christian hillbilly. Yeah, tell me.
Right. So what about cases in which somebody is sincerely mistaken about the data that they received? Right. What fallacy are they applying?
I'm sorry, Seth. You sounded very low. Very low.
Somebody presents to you an argument. I am repeating it. Somebody presents to you an argument in which case they're sincerely mistaken about the data they received, right? Like a scientific study that had bad or atypical results. What fallacy does that follow?
Okay, what fallacy does that follow? Whenever, okay, so let's understand this correctly, Seth.
This is
someone
is
saying,
things,
wait. Someone is claiming false information, yes? And you're taking that information to be the case, yes, Seth? But that information is not
That was a question.
true.
Whoa. Why did you ask me a question and then just move on? Can you repeat the question?
I didn't move on. I was asking you. So a person comes and presents to you information upon which you take that information, which is false, but you take that information as true in order for you to, reach conclusions about it. Yes.
What?
So
no,
listen, and then you conclude based on false information. You're asking me what type of fallacy that is because it is not reflecting of reality. Yes, is that what you're saying?
No, I gave you a very specific example where you're presenting, say, scientific statistical data that was
you presented to me. Let's say that in between you and me, I want to follow this.
Personal. One.
I want to follow this, man. So you present me with data. With data, right?
Tasteless.
You present me data. No, this is very, we have to be precise, motherfucker. Yes.
Let's just make this impersonal. One is presented with data from another, okay?
Yes.
The person in question is presenting them with data that is in error, but they're sincere, right? They don't know that it's an error. They have some scientific statistical data that is incorrect, right?
And
what fallacy are they applying?
Whoa. You are committing a fucking error of understanding there. Listen, Sam. You are assuming that just the mayor law. Let me fucking answer to you, man. I listened to your question. Let me answer it. Could you give me that chance or not? Yes or no?
You're stalling.
Yes or no? No. Yes or no? I am not stalling. I'm asking you a question. No. Don't hurry up. This is very dishonest of you. This is very dishonest.
Just go.
If you are going to engage me on my terms too.
No.
I am respectful of your time. Please be respectful of mine.
You actually weren't. You interrupted constantly.
So
can you just
the very act of providing information to another person, and there is no, you're not talking there about any reasoning about that, any conclusions. You're not talking about anything there, just by passing information and that's it. I don't think there's any fallacy there. And I don't think, the only mistake it was committed was taking something to be true, not to be true. But
Tom, what's his definition
if you're
of fallacy?
No, you're for such.
His definition of fallacy is something that doesn't comport to reality, isn't it?
Whenever you're trying to reason about it, Seth. Of course, we're talking about reasoning, Seth. You're taking.
You don't even hold your own definition, Tasteless.
Oh, Seth, you're trying so hard, dude. Listen, we're talking about reasoning. You presented an example. I'm sorry, Seth. You presented an example which didn't entail reasoning at all. Okay, so I don't know why you're trying so hard to put an example which is disanalogous to prove a point, Seth. This is lame, boy. You are such a baby, Seth. You are Mr. Prestigious, remember? And you're prestigious. Is this what this prestigious
Look, Tasteless,
you talk about?
Skip the meta.
Come on, man. So okay, so
Tasteless, you gotta calm down, dude. Calm down, Tasteless. Think about it. Tasteless, what is your problem with them saying that fallacies are non-sequitur?
No. I said that I'm not sequiturs to reality. This is what I said. They are not just non sequiturs. They refer to a lack of accuracy when it comes to the information being presented to one another.
No,
so
it has nothing to do with that.
Well, in your opinion, that's fine. You can explain if you want. But
his counterexample shows
do you
someone
think,
has something factual, but he wouldn't say it's fallacy.
I was asked to answer this question on the fly. So, Jovan, let me ask you something then. Would you agree, yes or no, that the more accurate the information you're using to reason, the more clear you're using, your reasoning, the more accurate your conclusion is going to be. And if you're using twists and skips and wrong, basically a misunderstanding about reality, this will lead invariably to a faulty conclusion.
Perfect.
Shut the fuck
Somebody
up,
write
Seth.
that
I'm
down.
talking to
Somebody write that
Jovan
down.
now.
No,
You
shut up,
missed your chance because you're
write that
a
down.
dishonest piece of
No,
shit.
I didn't.
This is so
Answer
fun.
my question.
No. Tasteless, you just said.
Shut the
So
fucking
you got
ass.
wrong
Shut
information
the ass.
leads to a wrong
Shut
conclusion.
the fucking
No,
ass.
Tasteless, stop talking. Other people get to talk.
Tasteless,
Are
you can have a
pathetic,
valid
man.
argument. Tasteless, you can
Hold on,
have a
hold on,
valid
hold on.
argument.
No, I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
show him right now. Hold on, this is real simple. Okay?
He's just going to show you can have a valid argument without it being
Right.
with the
That's
premise
exactly
being
what I'm going to
false.
show him. Look, you have faulty information, right? Here's some faulty information. All cats are blue, right? If all cats are blue, let's see, how do I put this?
You are agreeing to the terms and the axioms of the fucking system that you're about to
No,
employ,
it's-
Seth.
All
This
cats
has
are blue. You
nothing
get a
to
cat.
do
The cat is blue. That follows,
what-
right?
with the topic
that
at hand.
follows. That there's no fallacy in all cats are blue. I own a cat, therefore my cat
Listen,
is blue.
that is a logical
Tasteless,
system.
I'm in the middle of a sentence.
That is not just
Tasteless.
reasoning itself.
That you're going-
Tasteless does not want to hear you.
Oh my God.
Right? All cats are blue. I own a cat, therefore my cat is blue. That doesn't have any fallacy in it, right? But it leads to a faulty conclusion, right?
No. Listen.
Where's the fallacy?
Wait.
Where's the
There's
fallacy?
not fallacy there. No, there's no fallacy. Let me tell you why. What you're talking about, Seth, is we're talking about a logical system. Okay, whenever we have a system, we have an input, we have a process, and we have an output. Okay, in this case, the input is the axioms you're using to insert the system, the logical system. The output is going to be the conclusion. Okay, if you agree on the axioms of that particular logical system, you're going to get a particular conclusion. Never mind if it's true or false or whatever. You are going to get a result out of it. Now, this isn't the same thing we're talking about, Seth. You are now talking about a different thing with different properties, different everything for you to prove a point when it comes to rationality and understanding about, and understanding about the way we reason about ideas and concepts in the world. Now,
I think I had an epiphany about what Tasteless means by universe. I think when you say universe, you mean like it has to be faithful to all possible universes, right?
Stop the trolling, dude. Now,
No, because what you're saying is you're talking about like systems of logic, right? And you say
all I'm saying is, in order for us to reason correct, in order for us to have or reach, at least valid conclusions, the process in which we think and process information has to reflect reality in the most accurate manner. Because if you twist it somehow in the process, yes, you are going to have faulty conclusions. So you need to stay true to understanding what it is that you're referring to, what it is that it means, what it refers to. All the elements have to be, consistent towards the reasoning process. This is what you expect out of, good reasoning skills. But whatever you commit, fallacies, which is something that causes not to follow reality or twisting reality in a way, yes, that it's going to alter or affect the properties and the implications about the genuine piece of information, the conclusion is going to be faulty in that sense.
But here's the problem.
In the sense that it is not going to
This
be.
is like taking so long, man.
Yeah, Tasteless, there's a problem with that, right? Because there's two things you can mean by, look, if you use faulty information, you get to a faulty conclusion.
But what was the point? Tomr, what was the point of this exercise?
Hold on.
To show that fallacy is and that you don't know what a straw man is.
And what is the point of that?
To show that.
You didn't show that.
Yes,
now,
I absolutely did.
Oh, yes, you did. You think you did. So whatever makes you happy. Now, Tomr, what and how is that important? Or what follows from that?
I wanted to make you look dumb, and I did.
Oh, no. Under your standard, Tomr, you are dumb as fuck. You have committed like 10 fallacies today.
Well, that doesn't mean much because you don't know what a fallacy is.
Under your standard, Tomr, you are dumb, and that's it. Accept that, and maybe we can have.
Wait. Can we point out each? Can we go over each fallacy he's made then?
Dude,
He won't
no,
remember what
no.
they
This
are.
happened during all day, Jovan. I mean, this was from the morning.
Right, but
Tasteless
I
doesn't know what
specifically,
fallacy is.
Jovan. I specifically called every one of them.
The argument that leads to a wrong.
Every one of them, and I specifically demonstrated every one of them as they were happening,
that if you
Jovan.
believe any
You are
Yeah.
not going to do
leads
this.
to a conclusion.
I just
Most
can't
of them-
believe that Tasteless. I
Either
just-
one of those. Each
What
one
you
of
can
those-
Most of them
believe?
was just
Each one of those things.
He was
are
basically
very
strawmanning me
specific.
all fucking day.
yeah, but that doesn't mean much because you don't know what a straw man is.
Hold on. Tasteless needs to be quiet. Jovan's
Hey,
in the room.
how
so
are
Jovan
you
needs
saying
to
that
talk
I
now.
don't know what a strawman is, Tomr?
Because you said a
You
straw
are the
man was
one
just
who are
basically.
mistaken about what a strawman is. You seem to think that a strawman just takes place whenever someone is attacking you. And
No,
that's
I don't think
deeply,
that.
profoundly stupid.
No, Tasteless, you said a straw man was when someone misrepresented you, but that's not a straw man.
Hey, not just misrepresented you, but misrepresented you in the weakest way possible. You know, the
No, that
argument
also
is
is-
misrepresented.
That's
in
still not a
in
straw man.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
still not
what
a
it
straw
is. Jovan, let's take arguments to be like soldiers. So
I mean, it's kinda
for a
close.
person to repeat your argument
That's
and
not even
portray
close.
him as a straw man, which is something that is weak, that it has no fucking force, that it doesn't, it is just ridiculously weak. That is exactly what a straw man refers to.
No.
Misrepresenting an argument in the weakest form possible for you to attack and to dismantle, giving the appearance that you actually, beat it, the other person, when you actually didn't address his fucking argument as it is. So
It's getting
that
better.
is a straw man. It's
Hey,
getting better, dude.
Tasteless.
This is
Tasteless.
What?
Can you do an Urkel impression? Can you do like a
Kathleen, I
like
know
a
you're
Steve
one,
Urkel
and I'm
impersonation?
going to leave you with my dick inside of you, so you can
Tasteless, are you
move a
talking
little.
about a colloquial straw man, or are you talking about the logical fallacy of a straw man?
Okay. If I'm incorrect, Jovan, then tell me where I'm incorrect. Because
Well, the
this is
logical-
exactly what it means, isn't it?
Well, no, the logical fallacy of a straw man is when you take someone else's argument and misrepresent it purposely, and then conclude that they were wrong based off you misrepresenting.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course? That's not what you said.
Of course.
Tasteless, you didn't say
Because
that.
what Jovan said is
Oh, so let me understand this, Jovan. So whenever a person is misrepresenting an argument in the weakest form possible, which is actually doesn't reflect the argument as is, in a way for him, because he's using my stance, which I don't have, it is different from my position. It is portrayed in the weakest possible scenario, so he can attack and make his point. Isn't that a straw man, Jovan?
Oh, it doesn't
Did he
have to be.
conclude that you were wrong based off it?
Yeah, he was basically saying something that I
If he
didn't
concluded
say.
that you were
Of
wrong based off the
course.
misrepresentation, then that's a straw man.
Well, just give us the
Exactly. He
example.
was basically saying, Tasteless is saying that
What it sounds
is
like
a
you kept
genius.
saying. What it sounds
Hey,
like you
hey,
kept
hey,
saying
hey.
is that he was just misrepresenting you.
Dude, to follow. Oh, dude, this is ridiculous. It is not just the virtue of him repeating what I'm saying, but trying to conclude in a certain manner. So whenever he was
Do you
talking,
think all misrepresentations are straw mans?
Jovan, so whenever he said, Tasteless is saying that Kathleen is a genius. Whenever Kathleen is,
Kathleen sucks.
exhibiting this type of behavior.
Just struck him. You just
Whenever
struck
Kathleen
him
is just
Tomr
acting
again.
in this manner, dude, of course it necessarily follows that I'm an asshole. Because why would I have this fucking, opinion?
Look, colloquially, we
Ah,
use misrepresentation and straw man kind of interchangeably, right?
No.
But
It
it's
is
not.
what it is. Look, Jovan, look. Can we conclude or can we agree that this isn't, a conversation in good faith? That Tomr is just grasping at straws.
No, I made a
trying to
very,
defend
very
his
good
dumb
point.
positions, his misunderstandings, his idiotic standards.
No,
including that
him
something
showing, no,
bad.
because he did
And
kind of make you look bad
Then
when you.
listen to me. Whenever I responded exactly with what it is,
No,
he says I
that never
didn't
happened.
respond.
He didn't.
That it wasn't that. And
Does
dude,
does
I am
anybody wonder
explaining
if
exactly what it is.
Tasteless is
So if
hurts from all the
Tomr
talking
is
he
saying that
does.
I'm dumb in virtue of me, not knowing, because this is a new one, not knowing according to Tomr, or missing or whatever about this topic, Tomr is concluding that I'm dumb. This is how dumb he is. He's standard. Listen, a fucking bad reason.
Pussy.
Yes, bad.
Look at what worked up he got.
Tomr's way of referring
Is
to poor reasoning.
Tom a pussy?
Yes. Listen. Yes, and then he doesn't apply his standard, and he just applies his emotional standard to conclude that I'm an asshole. That's it.
Piece of shit.
So, Tomr, I don't expect you to be honest. I don't expect you to portray me in a way that, because you know that if you portray me in a fair way, you lose. You have nothing. You need to Strawman. You need to misrepresent. You need to poison the well. You need to fucking do the things you do, because otherwise you don't have a single shot. And you utilize smartly your power and all of your fucking white knights for you to hide behind them, because you're not able to engage with me. You're using Seth, and you're using anyone who comes to your defense, because you are a weak, dumb reasoner who is hiding behind his mods.
He's gonna keep going no matter whether you want him to or not.
So, I'm sorry, man. Get wrecked.
Tasteless from my favorite movie, sir. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. We are now stupider for having listened to you. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, a good one. So, Kathleen, do you need Vaseline?
Dude, like seriously, like what is your like you claim to be like a heterosexual man.
Okay,
what is your fascination with my ass? Like for the last 2 days,
you continue to put my dick in your ass constantly, Kathleen.
Dude, your dick will never be.
And I'm tired of this.
Your dick will never be anywhere near me. Ever. I don't fuck brown people, so your dick will never be anywhere near me.
Yes,
so stop trying to put your dick inside of me.
Yes, you sound very reasonable, not altered and emotional.
Yeah, Kathleen, can you? I kind of want to finish this up. You're kind of like going off the rails here about just random ass stuff. I don't really care.
I mean, you can try to finish it up, mate, but he's been going like this for like 9 straight hours. I don't think he has an off button.
You're poisoning
There's no finishing.
World. You are poisoning the world, Kathleen.
Right. So, for example, Tasteless, you've been supposedly counting the logical fallacies today, right? And it usually goes something like this. Tasteless, you said that Kathleen was smart. No, Tom. Excuse me.
No. To be fair, did you ask me that? Or did you say finish? What I said?
Please finish.
Was he just hanging on your dick?
Right.
What just happened?
So it usually goes something like this. Tasteless, you said that Kathleen is smart, and then you would say Strawman, right?
False.
No, that's exactly how you have been doing it. And that's not a Strawman, dude.
May I refresh your memory? And maybe if anyone here, well, you're doing it now that no one from the morning is here. But what you do is, so Tomr, Tasteless says that Kathleen is a genius. This is what you do. You say you are restating what you assume I said, which I didn't, and then you portrayed it and misrepresented to make your point.
No. What's the
then I stop you and say, hey.
What's the conclusion from that statement that doesn't follow?
What do you mean?
Well, that's what a fallacy is, right?
Listen, you are telling these people that you asked me, that you go and say, Tasteless, did you say that? That's a lie.
That's not a fallacy, though. It's just a lie.
And accept that you didn't do that. can you be fucking honest and accept that you didn't ask me what I thought?
Doesn't matter.
But you basically no. It does matter. Did you lie or not? Was it a falsehood or not?
Well, I don't think it was.
You're so dishonest, Tomr. You see, this is the problem. Okay, go ahead. Finish whatever it is.
But even if it was a lie or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Finish whatever it is that you have to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the point is that if I'm lying or not lying, it doesn't matter. It's still not a fallacy. It's just a claim that may or may not be right.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah.
You done?
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Okay. So I'm guessing now that everyone is... No. Kathleen, shut the fuck up. Now that everyone is, aware of this situation, Tomr.
That you're doing, Tasteless.
Now, it's going to be very easy for them to be
Get that
honest.
dick out your ass.
And, okay, let's say I'm going to give you and conceive you that, Tomr, okay? Today, you didn't exhibit to be dumb. But don't worry, man. I have faith in you. I know you're going to continue to do this from now on. That's all you ever do, and I don't think you're able to do anything other than commit fallacies. And
I wish Shane was not.
So now that everyone is here, now that everyone is aware of this situation, well, perhaps then we can see whether when I called you on strawmans and misrepresentations and poison in the well and all these fallacies you commit, then they would, defend you or consider. It doesn't matter, man. You're still getting fucked. So I guess we'll see that.
Good God, Tasteless is really mad.
I guess we'll see. So this was a pretty bad showing. Keep acting in the same way you're acting.
Honestly, it just seems to me like maybe there's just some deep-seated like homosexual attraction between Tasteless here.
Do you think you're cock? Kathleen? This is trust me, dude.
And I think that the reason that
you're making a fool out of yourself
in the way that he does is because he secretly just wants to be down on his knees getting slapped with his cock. That's what it seems like to me, because I don't know anyone who spends this much time attacking one person. Like,
Tasteless, do you like Asians?
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexual tension in this room right now.
I like Asians. Yeah, Kathleen, this
do
is
you like Mexican?
cheap bait. Yes. I'm sorry, Kathleen. I know that you're upset. No, listen.
I'm not upset at all.
Can we stop with the Kathleen and Tasteless back and forth?
Yes, Kathleen. Come on, it is just absurd. I know.
I don't start these things, mate.
I hurt your feelings.
He's just had my name on his mouth.
I know.
For the last 2 days.
Your feelings.
Every time I come in, he's talking about me.
I heard it, Uranus. And I know you're upset. Okay.
Tasteless,
but
you would have to have some kind of relevant importance in my life for you to be able to hurt me. So you have no relevant importance.
Can we just finish up here?
You
I don't
cannot hurt me.
Then why don't you reflect that in
Okay, both of you. All right. We got enough. All right, have fun with that. All right.
So, Tasteless, are you retracting all the strawmans that you accused me of today?
No, I'm conceding. If that's what you want, I have no problem, man.
Wait, hold on a sec. You're conceding what?
Well, I'm conceding that you're refusing because you're a dishonest piece of shit that wasn't a straw man. So I guess we have time in the future for us to know whether that what you do is actually straw man or poison in the well or acting in this manner, fallacious reasoning or not. Because these people now are aware of this situation, and I'm going to appeal to their honesty to call you on it. So, yeah, man.
He's going to be going on until he passes out. He's going to just keep going until he passes out.
Kathleen, can you just stop interrupting, please?
We have very much fucking time, ahead of us for me to demonstrate this. This is just like saying the sun is bright. I mean, yes, even if it's night, the sun will come tomorrow.
So exactly what are you conceding?
I am conceding about you denying this shit. I am not pursuing my right to demonstrate all these things.
What does that even mean?
It is so tiring that it's more simple to let you go. another game for me to call you out and for make it evident to others. That's it.
I'm sorry.
But I mean,
you
like,
just can't make this.
Come on,
shit
Kathleen,
up.
stop it, man. Stop it. You look bad.
conceding
I never
that
look bad.
I'm denying it. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this is what I said. I know it doesn't make any
It was
sense.
never my position that I'm denying it, right? So why would that be a concession of mine?
That is my reading of the situation. And like I said, if you don't want to accept it, even though I've been calling it all day and you can see it in the moment that you were being called for, and you didn't, contested it, even though you did, and I demonstrated how, and then you shut the fuck up, and then you continue to do it, and I continue to do
about this.
So, let's see. I mean, like I said, if you say no, it wasn't, great, that's fine. Now you're trying to use, this, according to you, what you were trying to demonstrate was that I don't know what a strawman is, and that whenever I today, when you exhibit them, and that I didn't know what I was talking about. And you're trying to misrepresent me and say, like you said, that for me, a paraphrasing is a straw man, which I have never claimed something like that. All I've asked for you is to be fucking honest, man. I know it's hard for you, but you are so dishonest or so dumb that you cannot fucking remember, exactly what I say or understand exactly what I'm saying. So you have to reinterpret it in the worst possible way, maybe because that is your fucking tendency, because you hate me so much. Don't deny you hate me, because you do.
No, you just don't make a lot of sense.
And this is just fallacious intuitions rather than reasoning, but it is what you do. You constantly do
fallacious intuitions.
And let's see.
Scarlett, check your PM.
God, Tasteless, you kind of outdid yourself today, man. You said some real dumb stuff.
Tasteless, are you saying that the Strawman fallacy isn't a non sequitur?
No, I never said that.
So you do think it's a non sequitur?
A non sequitur? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, like I said.
No, you're fine. That's all. I just wanted to hear that. So what fallacy isn't a non sequitur?
Man, Tasteless said some real dumb stuff today.
No, he deafened himself.
What's the timestamp? How long has he been going for?
This conversation right here is the worst one.
Is this the one that started like 4 hours ago?
So, like, if Jovan says, like, hey, I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow, and then someone else asks me, like, hey, when's Jovan going to the dentist? And I say today. That's a straw man fallacy.
All right. So, you guys got anything else to talk about besides how bad Tasteless did at defending his positions?
Well, I mean, when Tasteless is here, we usually just feast on the dumb stuff.
Yeah, but we've been feasting on the dumb stuff for like 8 consecutive hours non-stop without interruption.
Catherine is just jealous.
Jealous of what, mate?
Of you not being able to talk and to say.
Tasteless, what fallacy isn't a non sequitur?
What fallacy is a non sequitur?
Isn't.
Isn't. Well, poison in the well would be one.
If we boil that down, what poison in the well is going to be?
Shameless, you got a mic up, dude. Please just give it to me.
Well,
I'll do anything.
If we boil,
understand this.
Listen, Tasteless, listen.
No. This is very good, Tomr. I'm going to do exactly.
Listen to Jovan. Jesus.
I'm going to do exactly the same. Listen, you grab me off guard with a question and you're going deep on it. That's fine. That's great. I'm going to do the same to you, and I'm going to ask you the same cooperation as you're having right now, because I stated some things out of the blue, out of, you know, I've never been asked this question. Listen, I am not sure. Right?
Tomr said one thing and Tasteless couldn't help freak out.
I can go and polish the shit. But no. You're making it seem
no self-control.
If this was a fucking
I forgot my question.
Nah, shut the fuck up. Now listen.
Which fallacies are not?
I am going to do exactly the same. And you, my friend, you are going to comply with me.
Oh my God.
What do you
Do
want
you
to
agree
ask
with
me
this, Tomr? Do you agree with this, Tomr? Yes or no?
Will comply with
Because I
me.
know that you were up there, you know, taking, you know, away. You were talking to Angstrite, you know, asking for fucking strategies and whatnot, because you're a fucking dumbass who cannot defend himself. But yeah, man, I mean, you're going to do the same, exactly the same, and you're going to comply, and you're going to answer these questions, okay?
Yeah, what's the
That's
question?
Tomr, please punch me in the face again.
No.
Yeah, what's the
I
question?
loved it last time.
Wait, are you not answering my question?
This is very
then?
tiring. So yes, Jovan, that okay, if you boil down to that, it is going to be a non sequitur. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Show me
what,
how.
What a
Show me
poisoning
how.
of fallacy is going to boil down to is you present irrelevant information and conclude that they're false because of it.
What?
Yes, that's what it's going to boil down to.
No, I didn't hear the last part. Tell me.
Concluding that they're false based on you presenting irrelevant information ahead of time.
How is that a non sequitur? What do you mean by non sequitur?
It doesn't follow from irrelevant information. That's what irrelevant. You get what
Doesn't
irrelevant
follow?
means, right? Yes, it doesn't follow.
It doesn't follow?
That's what non sequitur means.
What, dude? You're just stating, oh, yeah, because it doesn't follow. Doesn't follow what, motherfucker?
Do you know what irrelevant is?
What is a fallacy? And what is the virtue of a fallacy? And secondly, explain to me how poison in the well is not a non sequitur.
Let's say I were to say that tasteless. Let's say I were to say that Danny is a homosexual, right? And therefore he's a degenerate, moral piece of shit, right? And then therefore this argument he's about to present is wrong. See, it doesn't follow from Danny being a degenerate, moral piece of shit, right? That his argument's wrong.
Of course not. Of course
that's
not.
The poison.
But that is not the virtue of the fucking fallacy, dude.
So are you saying that it does follow?
Let me ask you something.
That's what makes it a fallacy, though.
No. That is in the case of a straw man, how would you know? Let's say, for instance, that it is being presented and you don't realize and you conclude. How does that not follow?
No, what makes the straw man fallacy a fallacy is that based on you presenting you defeating a different argument, that therefore the argument that he presented is wrong.
Well, dude, holy fucking shit, dude. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is ridiculous, Jovan. You're not getting into the nitty-gritty of the fucking thing. You're just basically observing the whole fucking process.
Does anyone disagree with what I just said?
No.
That's exactly
Once
what
it took place, then you're saying it doesn't follow. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Tasteless, just be quiet and let Jovan talk because he sounds immensely better than you do.
And he's making a lot more sense.
So basically, Jovan, what you're saying is that every fucking fallacy is going to be a non sequitur in virtue that it doesn't follow the conclusion.
Do you know what non sequitur? Non sequitur means it doesn't follow. It doesn't
logically, you know, it is not the fucking logical conclusion of those.
No, it literally translates to does not follow.
It is not the logical conclusion. I understand, but listen to me. What you are doing is what you're saying is exactly what I said. It is basically a misrepresentation of the original argument and a loss of the properties that it holds. So I am going deep into this shit, and you're just observing it from the far and saying, "Oh, this is what it is." What I explained, it doesn't conflict with what you explained.
No, I explained
Perhaps
why
I haven't had the time. Listen, I haven't had the time to give it this a thought, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if you go to the nitty-gritty, this is exactly what's happening, you know, within reasoning in another level.
What is he talking about? Jovan, you gave a good explanation, and Tasteless just brushed that aside and is just rambling about shit.
So do you disagree with what I said,
No,
Tasteless?
you're basically disagreeing with what I'm saying. You're basically saying, okay,
you haven't said anything.
You're basically saying that what I said was wrong. But it is not wrong just because it differs from your fucking point or what you're, presenting, Jovan. Because what you're presenting doesn't deny anything that I presented.
I'm saying it's a fallacy in virtue of what I said,
maybe
not
it
what
is
you
not
said.
correct in all of its fucking, parts or whatnot. But the idea is basically exactly the same. Exactly the same. The conclusion doesn't reflect the original properties of what was being said due to a loss of information because you misunderstood it, misrepresented, or twisted, or jumped it, or whatever, but it made you lead a faulty conclusion that it does not follow logically from the original stance. So I don't know why.
So you agree that
you're basically saying, "Oh no, you're wrong because you didn't say what I know to be the case."
This all started out with you asking me how the poisoning the well fallacy could fucking be a non sequitur, and I explained that to you. Do you agree that was the explanation I gave you was sufficient?
Well, yeah, but at the same time,
so you agree that the poisoning the well fallacy is a non sequitur?
Well, yeah, under your okay.
Now then we're good.
Yes, I would agree.
Let's move on now, Tasteless. All right, because when I asked, the whole reason of you bring up the poison the well fallacy was me asking you for a fallacy that is not a non sequitur. So now give me another.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. When you say it's not sequitur with the conclusion, that's fine.
You agree that it's
about the conclusion itself? Yes, dude, I understand.
So you agree that when you brought up it as an example of something that isn't non sequitur, that you were wrong on that, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, now give me. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now give me an example. Now give me an example of a fallacy that isn't a non sequitur.
No, based on your fucking understanding, that's fine. I understand.
Holy shit!
But, listen,
oh man!
Listen, what I was saying.
Got through to him, Jovan.
What does non sequitur mean, Jovan? Could you explain that to me, and maybe you can understand what I'm saying? Could you explain what is a non sequitur?
I've already explained it to you. Please.
No, I understand. You're just saying, but very basically, why the conclusion doesn't follow. Tell me why.
I even gave you an example.
Tell me why you can identify that the conclusion doesn't follow.
Are you trying to end with me saying because it doesn't comport with reality? Do you think that's what it's going to end up being?
Is it not? So my question is it not? Is it not that it doesn't hold the original properties of the proposition or the information being, reasoned about? It basically changed and led to a faulty conclusion. Jovan, isn't that the case? Is that wrong?
Have you given me a fallacy yet?
All I'm saying, Jovan, are you saying that I was wrong?
I just don't understand why you're moving on. I don't want to.
No, Jovan. All I'm saying is, if you're saying that I was wrong about what I said, this is what I'm asking you.
Let me give
my explanation.
Let me give a quick recap of the last 20 minutes. Jovan asked Tasteless for a fallacy which is not a non sequitur. Tasteless gave him a fallacy, and then 10 minutes later, Tasteless agreed with Jovan that the fallacy was a non sequitur. Yeah, that's the last 20 minutes.
This is absurd.
So you made a statement,
but yeah, that's fine.
The statement turned out to be false. You agreed that it was false, and it took 20 minutes for you to realize that you gave an example which was incorrect.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Now
you agreed
that wasn't
with the conclusion. It's not me saying whatever I want. It's me recapping.
Was this recorded?
Yes, I agree with Jovan. Yes.
Wait, what?
So what?
I've been recording. Yes.
Oh, wow. Great. That's great, dude. That's great. So you better, I don't know, bacon is not round.
Yeah. So the topic of this discussion was are strawmen a fallacy?
So we can go ahead and analyze, scrutinize whatever I said.
I kind of want to copy.
We'll see whether I was wrong or right.
Yeah, this is one of the most
my fucking explanation, coming out of the blue,
rambling
about a topic that I wasn't prepared. That's fine.
You need to prepare. Like, we can let you prepare and really then come back if you'd like.
So I guess we'll fucking see what happens in the future.
Look, I'm sorry if
Shut
I caught you off guard.
Big chum.
If you like, I'm sorry if we caught you a little bit with your pants down, like unprepared. If you like, you can prepare, and then we can come back and we can have the same discussion.
No. I love this.
I love this. You
know what? No, I love this because you know why? You know why, my man? Because under the same circumstances, I can fucking demolish any of it.
I told you we liked anal.
Yeah. So, if you think.
We'll see. In the future, we'll see.
If you think you could do better,
Tasteless, you're not really understanding that if somebody isn't really sure about something, they're probably just going to be like, I'm not really sure about this, and not try to speak up with authority like you tried to do.
No. You asked me to be honest and provide an explanation about these things. You didn't said if I knew these things. No, you said do the explanation in an honest manner. In an honest manner. This is fine. That's fine.
You, though.
I am not going to say no. I'm not able. No, dude. I am able to fucking try to explain certain things whenever they are new to me.
Everyone's able to try.
Listen.
Able to try.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This was good. This was good. This was a good test. So. So you're saying basically, Tomr, that whenever I make you the fucking same experiment, you're going to say I don't know. That is going to be your fucking
If I don't know, I'm just
hiding place because you just always refer to I don't know, even when we're talking about your own reasoning. Which is fucking...
Yeah, here's the point.
I asked you about your own reasoning. You couldn't give a fucking
You're just filibustering now. I know you're angry, but just relax. True. If you're saying that you weren't prepared, then you're just conceding. That's not going to help you, right? Because then you're just conceding that this whole time you were counting off fallacies that you actually didn't actually know anything about.
No. Of course not. I mean, we all understand at a basic level what a fallacy is, but when you're trying to get to giving a dissertation about it or a fucking essay on it or an explanation, a full explanation about what it is, yes, Tomr, I think it is fair game. So whenever you're talking about any subject, I will ask you to do the same in order to explain or expect for you a good explanation. Then I'm going to fucking attack that explanation with everything. Okay, so that's what's going to happen.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Do it.
I don't give a fuck, Tasteless. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, man. You're a fucking pussy. You don't even care about justifying your own reasoning.
Why would it be a pussy move to just ask you to define something in which you claim to understand?
You use intuitions, and then when you know you're being called on that, and you don't have any justification, you fucking shut your mouth and then say, no, but I did have a justification.
So mad. I never seen him this
bad. I asked you yesterday, you didn't have the answer, so you shut the fuck up. So this is how, if you cannot explain your own fucking reasoning, then how am I fucking expecting for you to step ahead and say, I'm going to explain this subject that I wasn't prepared for, but I'm going to try to explain it, and then we'll see how you do.
Thank me, Daddy.
Look, it's not something it's just simply that I can't explain. It's something that I'm professing to understand, which I don't.
Oh, really? Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So basically, whatever you're speaking of, you understand. Yes or no?
Whatever I'm speaking of, I understand. That's generally gonna. I'm gonna have some understanding of it, right?
Unless you understand it, right? I mean, that's why you're speaking about it. Yes or no?
I mean, generally, I don't know. I can't think of it.
We can conclude the same. If you're not able to explain it in a satisfying manner, then that means you don't understand it. That means that you don't understand it then, right?
Well, in a lot of cases, yeah. I can think of some cases where that's not going to be really the case.
Whoa. This is not what you're saying. You said that about me. You're saying, hey, since you couldn't give a sufficiently good enough explanation about this, then that means you don't understand it.
Well, I mean, I can think of an example right now. So, like, if you said, hey, Tom, what is love? And I'm like, well, I don't really know. Like, I can't like really define
No.
it.
It's going to be about something.
It doesn't mean that I don't understand what love is, right?
No, you don't know what love is, dude. You never talk about love. You don't know what love is.
Don't
Summer, it's going to be something that you speak about, and then you actually say.
No.
So if you're saying yes,
Kathleen,
what I
can you
speak,
not
what I
just
understand.
noise spam? We don't really do that here, Kathleen.
So if what you're saying is what everything you speak of, you need to understand and to have a fucking correct fucking explanation about it, then then yeah, man. I mean, I guess
yeah, I
we'll
never
see.
said that.
You never said that, but you concluded that since my explanation wasn't good enough, then I am supposed to not understand what these things are and how they apply.
Yeah.
Oh, really? But
That's
in
my
your
conclusion,
case,
yeah.
in your case, it is different, right?
Well, I mean, love is like an abstract concept. It's hard to.
And who's talk about love? You talk about love. I didn't talk about love.
Yeah, love was an example that I gave you, where you can understand a concept but fail to describe it properly or something.
So you choose love, which is not fucking. That is something that is up in the air, that is not well defined. That is something that can be, portrayed in different, aspects. But whenever the things you speak of, you understand. So you will be able to give a sufficiently good explanation about these things, right? About the things you talk. You don't talk about love, but about the things you talk.
Yeah, I think being able to give an explanation is a definite indicator of whether or not someone understands something.
But in my case, it is, right?
But in your case, what?
It is. It is a good indicator.
That you understand what a strawman is?
I don't understand.
I don't think so.
Based on an for you not sufficiently well explained, response, right? So okay, I guess we'll see. Whatever the things you speak of, I will ask you for an explanation about in your understanding about this. And if you're not able to give a sufficiently good explanation, then that means that you speak things that you don't understand.
Yeah, it would be definitely an indicator of that. Yes.
Good. Well, I guess we're set.
Yeah, so I was speaking about a straw man earlier, and I gave an accurate representation, I think. So wouldn't you agree that that's an
it's very easy for me to preparate myself into a subject for then ask you about a subject and then measure our knowledge, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you prepping yourself on a subject would be pretty much irrelevant, right? Isn't the idea that I know it or not, not whether or not you do?
Exactly. So this is my point, right?
Go ahead.
That's my point. I mean, if I'm able, to do the same and to preparate on something and then ask you about something and then, for expecting you to give a sufficiently good explanation and to be able to call you for it.
Well, it's all dependent on whether or not I'm trying to say that I know.
Yes, of course.
What it is. I mean,
it's going to be dependent.
You preparing for it is really just.
But the things you speak, you understand. This is what you're saying because the things I speak, I understand. But now you ask me for a well explained or an explanation about these things, and yes, I would expect the same from you.
Tasteless, why are you appealing to this not being prepared now? Where is this crept out from?
Hey. Whenever you are talking about something, and you are not. This thing's. No, I'm sorry, Ray. It is totally different. It is totally different to understand the epistemology and the fucking history and what it is. That's fine. That's great. If you are not able, listen. It is very simple, dude. It is very simple. And I'm going to use this with fucking simple terms.
Listen, triggered bitch. Right? You're gonna have to calm the fuck down, Buckaroo.
But if you're not able to
fucking
provide me with an explanation without looking it at Google, then we'll see.
You already claimed that you knew what these things were, and then when tested on it, you couldn't do it.
No,
and now you're saying,
I think I did great. I think I did great. And yes, I am being founded on my explanation about what these things are, and I am being, judged incorrect just because their definition does not comply with my understanding. But nevertheless, right? Nevertheless, I think
listen. That was a whole shit.
I'm trying to do is just let's play the same game, and that's it. We'll see. Because if the conclusions, Tomr is reaching from this are valid, then it has to be valid for him too. So that's it.
Hey, what? Yeah, well, it goes for everybody, bud.
Great.
I just don't understand the claim about being prepared. I mean, I thought he said he knew what these definitions were. He could give examples. He talked through them. He went through the process. It's garbled and it's.
And I can assure you what I said is correct.
You were saying you're saying you're unprepared, right? So now you're saying you're unprepared. So that to me.
What I said was actually correct.
Hold on. Have a little bit of patience with this, right? So what that says to me is actually you weren't confident in what you were saying and you were just making it up in the fly. Because to say that you are unprepared means that you're not really confident in your definitions or your understanding. So because you're saying, well, I need to read up on this now. If I was prepared, I would have done much better, right?
No, I have never, read about this. I don't even know. Listen. I don't know exactly. I have never went myself and try to get to the bottom
then
of what a
maybe you shouldn't make the fucking claim that you have the ability to point this out.
You
fucking should make the fucking claim that you can define these things.
I'm going to do the same for you, Ray. Let's pay the fucking favors. Yes, what are the fallacies? Ray, what are the fallacies?
Oh my God, he's so...
And especially, Ray, where does this knowledge come from, Ray?
Whoa. What do you mean, where does this knowledge come from?
Yes. How do we get to the fallacy?
3 or 4 times doesn't really...
Yeah.
Ray, but you just have to be honest and explain to me, how do we get to these fallacies? Or you can do the same, Tomr, right now. Anyone.
Tasteless. I don't know, but I didn't make the claim that I was.
Whoa, Jovan. How do we get to the fallacies, Jovan?
Wait, hold on. See, this is what
you
an honest person does this, right? No. You asked me the question, and now you're uncomfortable.
Give them time, Ray. Give them time. Right? Shut the fuck up. No, this is not valid anymore.
No, just turn it down and keep talking.
So you're asking me these questions right now. When confronted with something that I don't know much about, I won't say this is 100% how it is, right? I might fumble through it. I might get it wrong, but that's not what you were doing, right? You were making a positive claim. You were saying, I know what these are and this is what they are. I know what these fallacies are. Tom is committing these fallacies, right? Now, when you're asked to explain these fallacies, right, you couldn't do it. You garbled through it. You made a mess. You meandered. You went and said something else. You yelled. You made some fucking horse noises, right? Now, that doesn't seem to me like someone, right, that has a good grasp on it, right? Now, if you didn't know, you should have just said, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I've got it wrong.
Yeah, there's no shame in saying that you don't know something. So when you claim to know something and then you fail.
Yeah, that's why you're thinking that you're just gonna get me in some sort of ghost moment or
no. We're going to do this.
But I'm just gonna be like, oh, I was wrong about that.
So Tomr, where does these fallacies come from?
Where do fallacies come from?
Yeah. How do we get to this knowledge?
I don't even understand the question.
How did we get to this knowledge?
How did we get this knowledge?
To this knowledge about fallacies.
Yeah, I don't really understand the question either, buddy. Just go ahead and extrapolate on that.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense because you don't have the information, huh? So, Tomr, could you try to explain how these fallacies came to be, please?
I don't even understand the question. What do you mean?
The knowledge about fallacies, what was the source of it? How did we arrive to that knowledge?
Start again. Try to make it clear.
Yes,
come on.
Yes, it is clear. Tomr?
How did a fallacy come to be? I don't understand. I don't even know.
How did we arrive to the knowledge of fallacies?
How did we arrive at the knowledge of fallacies? I don't know, through reasoning, I guess.
I didn't ask through what. I said how.
Yeah.
Just give me the process.
I'm confused.
How this knowledge came to be?
We reason to them. to these.
Oh, really? We reason to everything. That is not a sufficiently good explanation. Is that all you got?
I didn't say that.
Is that all you got? Really? We reason to it? Is that all you got? So you don't know? Is that what you're saying?
I don't even understand the question.
How we reach these conclusions about fallacies.
How did
so
we
what if he
reach
doesn't? Let's say he doesn't. What hinges on that, right? Does that mean that your claims that you made, that you knew what these fallacies were, are any different? How does Tom
we'll do this later, Tomr.
Oh, I think I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, look, you don't know the origin of fallacies, therefore you don't know about them, so you can't talk about fallacies.
No. All I'm saying is, if you understand how this knowledge came to be, how did we reach to that knowledge? We reached that knowledge.
This isn't. What
in order for you to.
Okay, you can do that. No worries, but no worries. We'll do that another time with other things such as simple words and concepts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Tasteless.
Great. So
yeah, see you in 10 minutes, buddy.
No, not in 10 minutes, dude. I have to do.
See you in 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay, see ya.
Oh, that was. I didn't expect it to be that good. That was way better than I thought it was gonna be.
Did anyone understand what he was saying? No, I don't get what the fuck he was saying. And also, that was fucking hilarious.
They all sounded like very different questions each time you repeated it.
That was the most angry I've ever seen Tasteless. That was fucking beautiful. Thank you.
Fact about Mexico, the IQ is 87 there. The average, I think he's way below that, Tasteless. Kind of retarded.
I mean, he was just at the end. He was just like grabbing at anything he could. So even if Tom didn't know that, right? Whatever he said, where these fallacies come from, doesn't mean that Tom isn't able to recognize them, right? Doesn't mean that Tom isn't able to understand when Tasteless is using these fallacies or is committing them. Sorry, I mean, it's just I don't know what he was trying to aim at with that. Well, like, dude, he was looking to score a point, right?
So funny.
Do you think we might potentially see like a meltdown bigger than ever before at some point?
This seems to like have had a pretty strong impact on him for whatever reason. I don't know why. It was just sort of like an off the cuff thing I was thinking about, Strawman.
I can't tell if he's a troll or if he's just retarded.
It's the latter. That's the hint.
Honestly, if he's a troll, he's a bad one.
Well, he is good at monologuing, and that's for sure.
I don't know, he gets too invested in it to be a troll.
There's a correlation between less intelligent people in the server and talking more.
I mean, I would be proud of him if his monologuing was coherent. I think anyone can string together a slew of words that we understand, but when garbled together like that, actually don't make any sense. It's like speaking in tongues, right? It takes about 3 seconds to work out how to do it.
That was pretty bad.
Anyone want to take bets on how quickly he'll come back?
What happened?
Tasteless said a lot of dumb stuff.